So with the release of One Piece chapter 1010, you can clearly see that Oda is trying to show the key to defeating Kaido is by using Conqueror's Haki. Not just normal Conqueror's Haki, I'm talking about Conqueror's Haki infused within your attacks. And this is crazy, because after seeing what Zoro can do, even though he did cut Kaido and it is a permanent scar, he doesn't know that he used it. But I want to save Zoro for a separate video, because there's a lot of things now that Zoro's done, and the fact that he's a king and a don and he deserves his own video anyway. I want to include a lot of stuff with Oden and talking about other users like Goldie Roger, and I will obviously reference those guys within this video itself, but because of the weapons and everything and seeing what Zoro's done, you can see where Oda's going with this when it comes to the likes of Zoro. But with Luffy on the other hand, because he likes to use his fists, his feet, head, whatever he decides to use, that's just Luffy for you. But the reason I'm talking about Luffy now is because not just the fact that he's using Conqueror's Haki within these attacks. This chapter, chapter 1010 of One Piece, Luffy is a top 10 character, and I don't think it's debatable at all. You can have all these people in front of him, of course, but Luffy is a Yonko, and I don't think anyone can take that away now. Okay, yeah, you could have discussed it before, like when Big News Morgan said like he's a 5th Yonko or 5th Emperor, but I think seeing what he's doing now with Kaido and the damage he's inflicting compared to what he did within chapter 1000, because yes, I went through all those chapters again because I wanted to see what Luffy was doing, and Zoro and the rest of them, but I was mainly focusing on Luffy for this video. You can see the drastic difference, the caliber that Luffy's pushed himself, and just realising what he needs to do to actually defeat Kaido. So when you think back to their very first fight between Kaido and Luffy, when looking at Thunder Bagua and Kaido actually sparks Luffy out with just that hit, I was thinking, the man's not even using Armament Haki, so is he actually just flexing that he's far above Luffy in every single way? Even though we know that Luffy is very strong, he wasn't as strong as a Yonko at that point, and that was Oda showing, yeah, Luffy's not at that level, but I'm going to show you guys by the end of this arc, Luffy is a Yonko and he can do what he needs to do by taking out a Yonko. And so, talking about that, I thought, okay, he's not using the Armament Haki, he's flexing. But then when you look at Kaido's club, it's a black club, so I thought, okay, weapons, learning about the whole Enma stuff and a black blade and everything like that. I know it's not a black blade, but it's still a weapon. So I thought, has he used this club that much and used Armament Haki in it that much? That's the reason it's that colour, it's that Armament Haki infused onto it. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe he did use Armament Haki. But one thing I didn't notice in the manga, and I noticed it in the anime instead, you see the sky, and we know what Yonko are capable of. Goldie Roger and Whitebeard when they clashed using Conqueror's Haki. Shanks and Whitebeard when they used Conqueror's Haki. And I'm even guessing Shanks and Kaido must have done that when Marineford was going on. And then you see it with Big Mom and Kaido. They're splitting skies, but it always seems to happen that whenever it's just usually even one Yonko, it's like the aura, the conqueror, the king's Haki just sort of manipulates everything, like the sky and everything like that. And we saw the sky was like a purple dark colour, and it went back to normal after that. So you can see that Kaido is flexing his king's Haki by using Thunder Bagua. So I'm glad that we know that he was using Conqueror's Haki, and of course people did theorise as well that Yonkos must be able to infuse Conqueror's Haki in their attacks, whether it's their hands, whether it's a weapon, they could channel it through anything that they wanted to, as long as he gets the job done. And Kaido had clearly showed that when fighting Luffy at first. And so it's good that Luffy has learned from that as well, because even though Luffy was staring at him and he used Conqueror's Haki unconscious, it's like Luffy's thinking, right, I need to train, which he does. That's why he ends up in Udon, because of that fight, and he realises he needs to train. And so when he meets Hyogoro learns that, Luffy wants to be able to perform advanced Armament Haki, but in Wano it's known as Rio, and I do think Rio actually sounds cooler, to be fair, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, so he learns how to use it, and by the end of that segment of the arc, he's doing it. Luffy's doing it because he stands there with the fist, coats it in Haki, he's standing back, and he goes to hit the tree. Doesn't touch the tree, but it does what it needs to, and he's learned how to use it, so it destroys from the inside. But you can see there's a different caliber by infusing Conqueror's Haki with it. You see there's a drastic difference. When you go to chapter 1000, and you guys go back and read it, I'm pretty sure you guys already have, but from chapter 1000 and the chapters that contained part of the rooftop fights, because obviously we did go off for a couple of chapters, but with those fights up on the rooftop, for me, Luffy was just showcasing what he can do. Oda just wanted to be like, right, I'm going to show Luffy doing this before I show the good stuff. That was good stuff, but this stuff was even like higher. This was like top tier stuff that he showed within this chapter. You see Luffy using Red Rock, and I was hyped off that chapter. I was like, oh my god, like Luffy just walked past 2 Yonko going to see Kinemon, and then you got Kaido coming in to whack him. Luffy jumps up and then literally comes down and whacks him with the Red Rock. Even Big Mum is shook, and Kaido shook as well. Like, he even gets up and says, there's only a select few that can actually hurt me. And you see those people above him, and obviously like confirming Shanks as well, like who's literally just behind Luffy. Out of every single character is Shanks. But now Kaido's got to put Luffy in that category. So when he's using all of these attacks, Kid even states, it feels like these attacks just ain't doing nothing. They're not doing any damage to Kaido whatsoever. Luffy pops up and says, no, they are working, they are human. And then we see within this chapter, this is where I'm going to reference Zoro here. So of course Zoro doesn't know how to use Conqueror's Haki. So Zoro comes in, uses Ashura, great attack. I'm so glad we got to see that again. And I was looking over the panel, I didn't see none of the shock. We're not going to see that. Even though, like, you could say, like, Luffy back when he used it, Zoro's in that same part that Luffy was back then when it comes to Conqueror's Haki, because Luffy didn't know what he used. Ivankov even said, like, do you know what you just did? And Luffy's like, no. Like, and he's just continuously running towards Ace. And then you think back to Zoro now, though Zoro has left a permanent scar, Kaido comments saying, oh, you're not one of those people who has Conqueror's Haki as well. And Zoro's like, what are you talking about? And of course he faints, and yeah, I think Zoro will come back. But you can see the difference, that though Zoro has only just used Conqueror's Haki for the first time, he still managed to cause a severe injury towards Kaido. Like, you can see the blood just dripping down him. And he even says, yeah, that's left a permanent scar. But Kaido's not too phased. He's phased, but he's not that phased. So he knows that Zoro isn't going to be the one to defeat him. So that kind of rules out the whole, you know, ZKK stuff, Zoro kills Kaido. That's not happening. You can see it's going to be Luffy. Consider he's going to go toe to toe, and it's going to be one-on-one. And he even tells Law that, don't worry, I've got this. Tell everyone, it's all good. So with Luffy, I feel like he knew the Conqueror's Haki was infused the moment that Kaido jumped up into the air and he said, Conqueror of 3 worlds, Ragnarok. Obviously, Ragnarok is when he actually hit Luffy. But he saw Kaido spinning it, and you could see the static, like the Conqueror's Haki static. He's twirling it, and I feel like Luffy, even though he was probably like, oh my god, he's about to come down and hit me, like, oh crap, like, what do I do? But I also feel like maybe you could interpret that in a different way, in the fact that Luffy knows it's now Conquerors. Conqueror 3 worlds, Conquerors. So you know that the Conqueror is in that. Because as soon as Luffy stands back up, he's like, I know what you're doing. You're infusing Conqueror's Haki within your attacks. That's what you're doing. Kaido smiles, confirms it, but also says, yeah, only a select few can do it, saying the same thing again. So I imagine he's talking about like the previous Yonko and everyone else that can do that. But he's saying for a dead man, meaning Luffy, he's not going to be able to because he'll be dead. So it's not going to matter. That's when Luffy does his thing, jumps out of the way, and he does his very first attack with Conqueror's Haki, because you can see the clash. There's that big clash, the club, the foot, the clash. There it is, Conqueror's Haki. So Luffy's doing it. And it's the fact that he remembers as well, because you see that little segment where Hyogoro says, just let it flow through. So all you got to do, just let the Haki flow through the body. Conqueror's Haki, he let it flow through. And we see that 2 times again. Now this is where the drastic change within Luffy, the colossus person that Luffy is, like that caliber of Luffy that has just changed within him. And the man flips back, jumps forward, and Kaido's probably thinking, oh yeah, he's just going to hit me. But when you see Luffy flying in with the big smile, got the Conqueror's Haki, you can see it just gearing up, getting ready to go. Bear in mind this is in base form, it's gearing up. He's gone to hit him, he stops, but the attack still happens, because you see Kaido just like get hunched over, and you see the blood just drip, like the blood's pouring out of his mouth. And then before he's even realised, Luffy's jumped up in the air and just uppercutted him, and he's flying back, and you just see even more blood come out of him. So you can see the difference between Luffy 5 minutes ago to the Luffy of now. Those attacks that Luffy was doing before, they hurt Kaido, but the difference now is that Kaido is getting damaged, like severely damaged. He took that big like slash, and then he's just took 2 hits from Luffy, who's not even touching him but infusing it with Conqueror's Haki, and he's laid him out. Now of course, like, we know for a fact that Kaido's not shown the full extent of hybrid Kaido yet. Like, his hybrid form, he's going to do some damage. I feel bad for Luffy. I feel like Luffy's going to test Gear 4. But because he knows what happens in Gear 4, it's probably not going to go down so well. He's probably going to knacker himself out even more. So I don't think he's going to want to do that. I think he's probably going to stay in base form for a while, may use Gear 3, sort of just do what he needs to do just to sort of, you know, just make Kaido's health like just deteriorate. So he's like feeling more, you know, like fatigued and everything like that. And then maybe he might bust out Gear 4. But if anything, we know that Oda has confirmed Gear 5. And I've always been a big fan of Gear 5 showing up at some point. And I thought, you know what, Luffy's just going to use Gear 5, he's going to use Rio, and he's going to absolutely decimate Kaido. But this changes everything for me. I think that when Luffy busts that Gear 5, I think this is going to be the ultimate combination. We're going to see the Rio used, we're going to see the Conqueror's Haki infused. It's going to be one heck of a fight, and I think that we will see some sky splitting. I think that even Luffy on his own, if he goes into Gear 5, there's going to be some sky splitting happened, and this is going to be great, you know, going further on for Luffy for the remainder of One Piece when it goes into that final arc, when he gets to One Piece, when like the big war happens. It's going to go off, but it's going to help him because he's going to shock a lot of people. And when you think about him clashing with Kaido as well, like, can you just imagine what damage this is going to do? We know that Onigashima is still flying right now. We know it's very close to Wano, but because of the way that Oda does things, of course, time's going to be slowed down. But I'm actually starting to wonder, is it possible that if Luffy uses Gear 5 before Onigashima gets over Wano, if he and Kaido clash, or even before that, if they clash, what's to stop the island crumbling? Of course, that's going to be bad for the rest of like the gang who's downstairs and everyone else. But when I'm saying, like, if it drops, I'm not talking about over the ocean. I'm talking about what if it lands on the outskirts of Wano, and what if Luffy and Kaido's battle ends up in like the center of Wano, like in the main part where everyone's just watching Luffy and Kaido go at it. I think that could be a possibility while everyone's probably still on the outskirts, but that just depends if that sky splitting actually happens. I think that, you know, having the sky splitting will, you know, aid Luffy as well. When I say aid Luffy, I'm saying that for his character in general is the fact that he'll be, you know, making people shook. Like, you'd think people like a Kainu and Dragon, I'm not saying he's going to fight his dad, but like people like Dragon, Shanks, and everyone else, like those real like top high caliber people within the series, Luffy's going to be a Donnie. Like, Luffy's going to walk in like a Don, a king. When he gets to One Piece, he's just going to make people shook. And then even like confirming that he is a Yonko as well now. Like, Luffy is the 5th Emperor, like, without a shadow of a doubt. He is a top 10 character. I don't think there's any debate in that whatsoever now. Top 10 character, confirmed Yonko, and by the end of Wano, everyone's going to find out that, yeah, like, this is official. Like, he took down Kaido. Like, it's going to be one of the biggest things going on within One Piece, because we saw recently within the anime as well, after Roger became the king of the pirates, everyone, Marines, pirates, were all after him. Everyone wanted to take him out. So seeing this, knowing that Luffy is going to take down Kaido, and when he does, and seeing everything that goes on after Wano, Luffy's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Not saying he isn't now, but not just him, Zoro. Learning Conqueror's Haki and just having that and being able to use it, they're going to suddenly realise the Straw Hats are going to become the deadliest force that the world has ever seen, comparable with the Roger Pirates. Of course, you've got the rest of the gang, and you see like the difference between Roger and everyone else, like with his lot and the Straw Hats, but they are going to be up on that level eventually, and it's going to go off. So everything that goes on from now, well, actually from chapter 1000 and entering Wano, everything that's coming together is just going to be beneficial for the story, beneficial for Luffy's character, beneficial for Zoro as well, because now not just Luffy but Zoro having Conqueror's Haki, it's going to go down, and we are going to be entering the most amazing, brutal ending to One Piece within that final arc, and I am so excited. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself already, but with this, I just can't wait to go on. But yeah, just get excited because things are about to kick off. This is where the real stuff happens. Like, this is where you got two Colossus people, Kaido and Luffy, about to go toe to toe, heads ahead, mono. Two Donnies about to, you know, kick ass. Let's see it. let's go. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Make sure to smash this video with a thumbs up because it helps out with the algorithm. Make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below because I would like to see what you guys think. Make sure to hit the subscribe button because that'd be absolutely amazing. Make sure to hit the notifications bell so you guys never miss a post, and I will see you guys for the next video. So until then, see ya.